Hi, this is Seth from Electrek, and today we're going to take a look at two very low-cost, medium-quality e-bikes from a company called Ancheer, which has been around for a bit of time. We reviewed kind of the last generation of their bikes about 2 years ago. They've done some updates to their bikes, so we're going to kind of take a look. The headline feature of any Ancheer bike is the price, obviously. No other e-bike comes in with full-size wheels, 27-inch wheels, decent electric. This is a MXUS 350 watt motor. It's the 36 volt systems on both of these. The foldable one actually has a 250 watt motor. The battery on the bigger battery is a 10 amp. So you're looking at around almost 400 watt hours of power. A little bit smaller of a battery on the foldable bike. And it's of course up here on the handlebars, which, probably not the best decision anybody's ever made. If we focus on the foldable bike, the fold is right here. It's a kind of one step, pull that out, and then you're gonna push this thing up and then split it apart, and then you can throw it in the back of your car. Mine fits in the back of a Model Y pretty easily. So I imagine you'll be able to get into most cars. Again, this is a $600 bike, so you got to keep that in mind. The suspension, for instance, pretty garbagey. I'm gonna try to even push it down to make it move a little bit, but it's almost like kind of like a prop. And of course it's a little bit, it looks like a little bit thicker poles on the full mountain bike, but not much better. These are fake adjusters, doesn't adjust. But what is nice is they do have good brakes. So, obviously safety is important. And you're looking at disc brakes, about 180 millimeter discs, obviously mechanical, not hydraulic. So take a look at this real closely. So when the bike comes in the box, it's got the tire off to the side, but the brakes are pretty much hooked up. You just kind of slide the tire in between the pads. So I was riding this around after putting it together, and the front brake actually, the bolt here loosened up, and I lost my front brakes, and I happened to be going on a hill, which kind of sucked. But obviously I had my back brakes, and I'm still alive, so not a big deal. But just a little word to the wise: make sure all the bolts are tightened, especially on brakes, on important componentry. So I've gone back through and checked everything else. Everything else was pretty tight, but obviously that was a little bit scary. So let's look at the mountain bike. This is called the Sunshine or something. Don't know if it says anywhere on it, but the componentry, it comes with a bell, ding. The light is pretty much like something $10 you would find at a big box store. Actually, a lot of this is big box store quality, but you hit it, it's bright. It's got like a watch battery inside. It'll probably last 3 or 4 days, but it's better than not having a light, I guess. The gear shifters are actually interesting because Shimano, obviously, you can tell here, and it's a Shimano derailleur down here, Shimano tourney, which actually isn't that bad of a derailleur. But you'll notice, like, unlike most e-bikes, it's got a front 3 sprockets and then 7 more in the back. So these are both 21 speed, if I'm counting correctly, 21 speed bikes, which for electric bikes usually don't have any front gear changing. So that is something maybe you like. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I'm kind of ambivalent. I just leave it where it is mostly. So going back to the components, they have 2 different kind of electric controllers here. So look at one and then we'll look at the other. Both work in the same way. You have assist levels, and then each one has a throttle. Throttle on This one is a little more subtle. It's a twist throttle here. The throttle works all the time, and no matter what assist you have on the full-size mountain bike. But on the foldable, you either have throttle or you have low, mid, high assist. And I will say that the low, mid, high assist, it's hard to differentiate between them. It kind of all feels like full assist, which is fine. For me, I only use high assist. I mean, the whole reason of having an e-bike is so that you can go as fast as you possibly can, as much as you can. So for those people who want to go on really long jaunts, maybe you want to go on a lower level, I would recommend this guy over here. So the battery on this is a very standardized pack. It's 10.8 amp hours. So multiply that by 36 volts and you're about 400, a little less than 400 watt hours, which is pretty good for a $600 bike. I mean, that's about a $300 battery, maybe $250. So almost a third to a half of the price of the bike is in the battery alone, and then the motor is another 100, 200. So you're getting up there already. The foldable has a strange kind of battery that hooks onto the front of the bike like a basket almost. And because of the battery being here, the controller being here, and then the motor being here, you've got this like crazy amount of wiring. It kind of goes on both sides. I don't know if I would have designed the bike this way, but I guess it works. We reviewed a similar one, I think Micah actually did, about 2 years ago, and it worked out well, and this one is no different. It's fine, it's working out, but it's not, it's questionable. A lot of the foldable bikes, electric bikes we see, have the battery embedded in here, and I wonder if that's thought for Ancheer, because the wiring is getting kind of crazy here. Another kind of questionable decision. This is a full suspension bike because of this thing, but you see that it has about a millimeter or a centimeter of travel, which I'll try to even move it, and it's almost impossible to even feel. So I think maybe money for the rear suspension would have been better spent on the seat handle. By the way, both of these seats are pretty standard. You'd find in a store like a Walmart, about $20. Both are fine. If you've got undercarriage issues, you might want to take a look at an upgrade there. This has got actually kind of a thin pull. I haven't measured it, but I think it's probably not standard. Whereas this one is a thicker pull, that more standard, I think. And this one also has much more room, so you could, theoretically, you could be a much taller person and enjoy riding this bike. So you've got a lot more options here, a little bit more power. Kind of the main advantage of this guy is it's a little bit less expensive, especially with our discount code, but it's also foldable, and you can fit it in the back of the truck or back of a car. What else? So I'm about 6 foot. I think I'm a little bit too big for these bikes. I think the zone where you're gonna really enjoy this bike is probably, and my son right there. He's let's see, about 4'9", and he can ride this. So anywhere from like 5 foot to maybe 5'9" is kind of the sweet spot for these bikes. Obviously, you could be quite a lot taller and get on these bikes, no problem. Let's talk about the overall experience. So getting on this bike, it's pretty straightforward. The acceleration is nice. The motor isn't loud. There's plenty of power inside, and the range, they give 22 to 40 miles depending on how much pedal assist and how much obvious weight and terrain. But I think if you have like a 20-mile commute, you're going to be in good shape with one of these, especially if you pedal. I think if you're just using the accelerator by itself, I don't know if you're going to get 20 miles. I think maybe 15 miles is a little bit more realistic. See, there's not much else to talk about. I do appreciate some nice things, like the protection of the derailleur here. This also has If you look down here, also when it's folded, kind of protecting this sprocket set there. One thing would have been nice would have been a fold down here. So I noticed when I put this bike in my car, the handlebars are kind of sticking out a little bit. So that's room for improvement. I think Ancheer should go with something like the smaller wheel foldable bikes. I think are kind of a sweet spot. So Saunders, Electrek, not Electrek, and who else? I think Rad's got a foldable fat tire bike. So a few of those, I kind of feel like those are better foldables. Although this one's going to come in under $600 after our coupon, so it's going to be hard to beat that. And it's a nice bike to ride around. It's all the proportions are really good. The tires are fine. The pedals, these are plastic pedals, but they fold. So let's see if I can get this with my hand or need feet. Anyway, they fold. Amazing. So still plastic. Yeah, that's about it. We are gonna go take a ride on this. We showed you the lighting on the other one, but we're gonna take another long ride and we're gonna get some more feedback. And if you have any other questions, let us know. Thanks for watching. This is Seth Weintraub from Electrek. Thanks.